Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History Chronicles. G'day, everyone. I hope to see some more people show up. Yeah, we had a few technical issues at the start, but seems to be going okay now. I'll get straight into the introduction. The Signs of the Times. This is written by Dezert-Owl. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, which are the earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And I'd like to welcome Dezert-Owl to the program and get a sound check, please. G'day, Desert. How's it going?
Hey, Ninja. Hi. That's why we need to have announcements for people, so they can plan ahead to be here, because you're only on Monday and Friday, and they forget, because they're prior to this necessarily, unless they got an announcement. So that's what we'll need to do. So, and Lynn's not here today, so but anyway, we want to welcome whoever is listening out there. And there's Shelley. We got a sound check 10.
G'day, Shelley. Thank you.
Our engineer from Forbidden History Live. Thank you, Shelley. And so, anyway, we're going to do a few words first before we get into it. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anywhere you want to go, or I know you've been doing some a couple videos seem short, but you're going through phenomena continually as well on your part of the world.
I noticed a while ago, and John, one of my subscribers from Melbourne, has been paralleling what I have been seeing, like, because he's only a couple of hours south of me. And he mentioned that, like, for the last week, when the sun gets into the west, the sky, like, just before, about an hour before sunset, the clouds, because all we've had is cloud, completely controlled and weird. The clouds have been going from north to south in big, thick streaks across the sky, or just big sheets across the sky. And the sheets across the sky are what I noticed before I started seeing the spraying around 20 years ago. I noticed the sheets coming over first. Anyway, big sheets of cloud, or big long streaks. And at that time of day, about an hour before sunrise, when the sky is covered like that, the other day, if I didn't know the truth, I would have been absolutely amazed. And again, nobody around me reacted. I couldn't get pictures that day because I was at a shopping centre with Mum and catching buses, and I just couldn't get pictures. But the clouds were blue, like they were that electric blue colour, and almost blending in with the sky, except the sky was lighter. And it was like a pattern, like it, kind of a white, grey, and then the blue stripy pattern all across the sky, and it looked absolutely amazing. And since then, they've been like that. Like they're now blue. It starts in the east when the sun is in the west, and as the sun gets lower in the west, the blue creeps all the way across the sky. And that's what I caught the other day. It was starting to turn blue, like in the east, and I managed to get a little bit of it. It's absolutely freezing here right now. It's fake cold. I can feel it, I can taste it, I can smell it, all of that. And the wind is gusting between 90 kilometres and I think 106 kilometres per hour was recorded yesterday, and it's getting worse tonight and tomorrow. And I opened the door for the cat about an hour ago, and it's dark, but it wasn't rain that blew in, it was floating, so I think I'm getting a bit of snow. And it doesn't normally snow in Canberra, or not up my end, more down south.
Right, so it's not normal to get snow, you're saying, right?
No, we're always on the edge of it. Like, we're near the mountains, and we see it in the distance, but we're always on the edge of it. Yeah.
And Alaska just broke the 90-degree record for the first time in history. They had several days of 90-degree now weather. It never happened before up in Anchorage and that area up there. Yeah. The heat you guys are getting is what we went through just this last summer. It's like there was a week during our 4-month-long heat wave where we could not go outside for the majority of the day. We couldn't do anything until after the sunset. It was just, it was deadly. I remember opening the back door in the middle of the day to do some washing, to go and get some washing off the clothesline or something. And opened the back door, went to go outside, and
didn't even get out the door. I got halfway out and the heat just hit me. I thought I was going to dissolve. I had to shut the door and stay inside. Yeah, and yeah, so anyone else who's listening to this, anyone who listens to this later on, if it's summer where you are, just please, you can't let your children go out there. You can't do things that we used to do when we were kids. It's not safe. It's dangerous. We have to drink lots of water, and
the good water, because the water coming out through a faucet's bad, and then the bottled water. Bottled water is also a low pH. You have to test the pH if you're getting commercial bottled water, because that's also poison. Alkaline water, it has to be a little acidic. 7.0 to
7.5.
Well, that's ideal, right? But nothing too far down. Nothing below 6 for sure. And you've got to test it, because in other words, avian, which is such a nice name, of the birds, avian proved out to be like down around a 4. And so don't drink avian, because it is bad for you. It's poison. So when we saw the pictures of the Old West and animals around the water hole were dead, you see all the bones around the water holes, and they say, so don't drink the water. Well, it's not because the water is poison, in other words, like, in a literal sense, but the reason it's poison is because it's alkaline water, and therefore it sucks the pH balance right out of your body. So that's the whole thing. And
and just sorry, just while I'm updating, I'll get it all out here at the start. With the because I know your internet went down the other day, and then yesterday they did something here. Telstra used to be called Telecom, and it was the first network here, the original one. And so it's still, even though there's so many different networks like these days, Telstra is still the main one. And so even if you're with a smaller network, it's normally under Telstra, like controlled by Telstra. And I became extremely aware of this yesterday when FPOS crashed. I know that Woolworths their system is Telstra. My provider is Telstra. And we could know, but like it was Australia wide. It started when I had one of those rare opportunities where I get to leave the house. I went for a ride down the shop on the electric bike. Wanted it to be a quick ride so I could come home and relax for a bit, and got down there and the system crashed, and thought, okay. So I went to another shopping centre nearby and avoided Woolworths, because I knew if it was at one, it would be at another one. And the entire shopping centre, the ATMs, nothing was working. So everybody was cash only. And most of the people there, including me, were there to get cash out and buy things. And it was impossible. I couldn't get anything. But a small miracle happened. I tried everywhere else, and I thought, I'll go into Woolworths because it looks like things are working. People were moving in there, and it looked okay. I went in there, and apparently it was the big banks where you could buy stuff, but you couldn't withdraw cash. I'm not with a big bank, so mine didn't work, and I couldn't buy anything. But yeah, a nice lady, employee. She must have been a supervisor or something. But anyway, She came up. She saw that I was having issues, and I was feeling really deflated. And she said that I could take what I needed for free. So because I needed some medical stuff for Mum and a few other necessities, she said, "What do you really need? You can have it." So yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Was that exclusively for you, or was that a policy for anybody that came into the store?
I didn't see anyone else getting this. I didn't see it happening to anyone else. I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure
Wow.
if the same thing happened to somebody else, because like most of the people were able to purchase their items, they just couldn't withdraw cash. Because
so
most of the people are with the big banks, yeah. So if there was somebody else there that was having the same issues as me, I'm sure they probably would have done the same thing. They would have let them take what they really needed. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah.
Well, that was a wonderful miracle.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a really nice end to a frustrating day. Yeah, but
That's how
yeah,
moves the hearts and minds of other people.
yeah,
For followers.
yeah. She was normal. I hate to say this, but she was normal. She wasn't like she wasn't like. You know, I don't know. You know how most people in the shops, it's like they're in a trance, when they're working these days. This lady was normal. Yeah, so it was nice and refreshing. But yeah, I got home and I did a Google search, and the only thing that popped up on the search page was all this stuff about Telstra, and yeah, so it was countrywide, because I didn't know that. It was countrywide, and it was EFTPOS machines, it was ATMs, it was affecting the supermarkets, obviously. Yeah, and it was all over the country, and it wasn't a wireless thing, so I could still use my internet and everything. It was a now I've lost my words. Hardwire, whatever you call it. It wasn't wireless. It was to do with something else. But yeah, anyway, that was the story. Yeah, and Australia Post was also affected. And
Well, back up and running now. Is that?
yeah, I checked this morning, and they'd fixed. They like, I kept finding articles saying we're working on it, and I'm thinking, oh, great, I need to go and get some money out today. And yeah, they'd fixed it overnight. So there was something else that happened today, but I can't remember what it was. It's gone. I saw it on mainstream.
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of what it was.
To clarify for people, you're in Australia. You're not picking up on your accent. So
Yeah.
in Australia.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
words.
yeah. So
Going
yeah,
down. Okay. So, okay, I'm sorry. Did
that's
you
the
finish
update.
your thoughts?
Yeah, that's the update. I won't go on about the controlled weather. We know what they're doing. Yeah, they're bringing us a blizzard right now. Yeah. So yeah, it's great.
I want to talk about words.
Yeah.
And how much of the Mayan video were you able to watch yesterday by the Viper program? Unlike what they were doing with Sumer, where they're doing a hatchet job on the Aramaic and the narrative of the decoded tablets from Sumeria, they're trying to say that it's Anunnaki and they've come down from Nibiru and all this nonsense to hide the fact that it was the Aryan culture that was regrouping after the flood, the Great Mediterranean flood, and so with this other documentary they just did yesterday live when I got to listen, and Lynn was there, and it was on the Mayan interpretation of the Mayan scriptures. Hey, Bob Gabbett, how are you, brother? Yeah, Bob goes back to my old radio network, and
oh, cool.
and, he's Yeah, he's one of the students of law. He was, I think, on with when we were doing the simulcasting. Bob, who were we simulcasting? Off the tip of my tongue, and I can't. All of a sudden, I'm having an aluminum moment.
Oh, no.
Bob, you just shared your broadcast with Facebook again today. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Bob, so much. Are you listening
Thank you.
to the broadcast? And yeah, Carl. Is it Carl? Anyway, if you're still listening, you can type it in there. But so with this, other documentary they didn't do a hatchet job on the Mayan writings. And there's Lydia out of Ireland. Hi, Lydia. Good to have
Lydia.
you. A little slow getting started because we had a small audience, so you just hardly missed anything. We were just doing an update from down under and what's going on down there with Ninja. But on this documentary with they did on the Mayan, the only thing in the beginning was with the Olmec. The Olmec, they said things that weren't true in regards to the Olmec about being a great civilization. That's another story that we can talk about another day. But with this, again, my question is, how much of the documentary were you able to listen to, Ninja?
That's the one you told me about this morning, my time. I thought it was going to be a long one. That's why I said I'd start listening, but I listened to the whole thing because it was only a short one, so that's okay.
Well, it was at least about 90 minutes, right? Something like that, right? 60 minutes, 90 minutes?
Oh, no, it must have been a different one. The one, I don't know, because...
All right, I'll have to send it to you. It's in but it's on the Mayan civilization. It was all the Mayan culture, Pyramid Central America. You didn't watch that?
No, I watched a different one that was only about 10 minutes long.
Well,
anyway,
the point when you watch it, right? Now that you've heard enough of this presentation, when you listen to this Mayan and put it, and when I send it to you, put it in the bottom here so anybody else can listen to it. All right? Because in there, when they read the ancient Mayan manuscripts, they are in fact telling the narrative of the creation of man, including talking about the fallen watchers and how that the knowledge was removed from them because of their fall. It's all there.
Wow.
They tell it, and they even repeat it over 2 or 3 times in different narratives, and they're not telling you what they're reading. You just have to be able to hear it and interpret it based on what you're hearing, and with what you know, you should be able to get the picture. Okay, so that was just phenomenal. So I'll send it to you again when we get done.
Thank you.
And put it in the box so people can link it. Okay, it's fantastic. But Viper's putting out this info on the Sumerian culture because they don't want us to make the connection that is the Aryan culture, and they had a tie in with Mezar, falsely called Egypt. And by the way, we're talking about words, and of course the word misery is what we get from Mezar, pseudo Egypt, because it's actually Mezar, and Mezar means the mother's star. That's what Mezar means, the mother's star, and that's what Egypt implies. The symbol of the Sphinx, and which is had an original head of a lion, and it was facing Leo, showing when the timeline began for that culture, which then goes back approximately 12,000 years, as was proven out by Graham Hancock, the archaeojournalist, and so in the Mayan, they had a terminology they were using for the sun in this Mayan documentary, and they called the sun the heart of the sky. You see, the heart of the sky, and there's the word ear, and if you put an H at the end of the heart, at the end you get Earth, which is the place of the fire, and so the heart of the sky, of course, is the sun.
Yeah.
You see, and so that's how they would have spoke back then, right? The heart is at the center. That's the place of the fire,
Yeah.
So just a little way of interpreting or hearing original thought. That's how they spoke back then. And then the word nun, we hear the word nun being used in the Catholic Church, but we also hear the word nun in the Tibetan monks. The Tibetan monks are also called nuns, And so,
Really? I didn't know
how
that.
come they're calling it? Huh?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, up there in Tibet, the ones that are wearing the same type of clothing as the Dalai Lama,
Yeah.
the boy, all the men, it's a male group, and they all are called nuns. And so the question would be, okay, so we got nuns up in Tibet, all male. Then we got in the Catholic Church, we got nuns, and they're all female. And so what's with the word nun? In fact, if we go into the Old Covenant, into Exodus, then we find out that Joshua, who represents in character type Yeshua, pseudonym Jesus, Yeshua, then it's interesting because they call it Yeshua, son of Bar Nun, and it's Bar Nun, and so the son of Nun, and you see, so there's the word nun again, and remember I talked about how the U is a supplement for the two O's, and so he's Yeshua Bar Nun, meaning he's the son of the sun at high noon. He's the son of the star Ram. He come down from the light, you see, and so then when they're calling these other traditions nuns, they're calling them noons. You see, they're implying that they're the virgin light at high noon. That's a joke for the Catholic Church, of course, right?
Yes, it is.
But but the virgin light at high noon is what it implies. You see, because they're like in Tibet, the boys when they come in, they all stay pure, right? They don't engage in interrelations or marriage. They stay separate as a cultural thing. Same with the nuns, of course. They're supposed to be celibate when they get sold into sexual slavery for the priesthood and or whatever. But that's what it means. So nun is a code because you got the two N's on each side. It's clear that it's the O, the U is a supplement for the two O's. We talked about that. So I just wanted to share that in case anybody didn't get that before. Then that's how the code works. You see, and so then another aspect of original thought. And there's Bob. Bob, we are experiencing 90-degree days currently. Yes. Bob, we don't want to have a morning anymore because when you wish somebody good morning, you're wishing that they had a death in their family. You see, so we say, and down in Australia they say good day, or
we say g'day.
Say happy sunrise or happy dawn. It's hard to get away from good morning. Like you don't want to be awake either because if you're awake, that means you're a funeral, right? So you see what they've done to us. We want to be enlightened.
So what about
right?
what about aware? What about aware? What's
aware? Well, as long as you're not a werewolf, because if you're a werewolf, then you're not doing too good. So, but you can be aware. Yeah, we know what that means. Aware. We're defining terms in the true nature, but the words were all crafted outside the Vatican at a place called the College of Abbreviators. So they abbreviated the words, they've tricked us. So just like, okay, so here's the original thought in finance. Finance, my head is spinning. Fiance is, as we hear it in the French, fiancé. So literally you can hear that it means the phase answer. What's the answer? The phase, the virgin woman that I want in the ideal, in the idyllic matrimony, right? The idyllic matrimony is that two people come together, they're both virgins, and so the phase answer is the fiancé. So it works both for the male and the female. This is my who I've been waiting for, the one that the Fae made for me, or just like when Adam woke up and he saw his other half, and he says, "You are the Aisha Fae. You are the royal eye of creation, the royal eye of the virgin creation, You see, and so that's original thought in there. The Fae's answer is the fiancé, but then it loses its original meaning. Nobody clues us in as to what it means, and so we lose it through time because they're not teaching the original thought. So it becomes just an abstract word that gets locked in on one idea when it's an elusive, flowing, metaphorical, poetical expression. You see, right? There's a lot to be talked about in there. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. And by the way, Bob Gavitt, he when I got to finally, Bob called me one day on when I was still in Florida with the RealPublicRadio.net, and we got to talking. I was doing a marketing program, and Bob got involved. And he was Bob. What was the name of the program? Was it Carl? I'm trying to think. Carl, out of Carolinas. What was his name? It's escaped me. I'm having an aluminum moment, and that aluminum's going around. You got to be careful what you breathe anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, come to find out that Bob, who's 20 plus years my senior, about 25 years my senior, he actually grew up in my own backyard in Central Jersey. And he even went to the same vocational school I went to.
Wow.
20 years later after he went there, yeah.
Small
he became
world.
a furniture maker doing upholstery, and I dropped out. So anyway, we talk about the same roads and the same places down there, and so it was very novel to make one of my dearest friends, Bob Gavitt, who is up there in Central Jersey still today in the rat race on the big sidewalk up there at the parking lot of New York City. So Bob, I'm so honored to have you stop by, and we've tried marketing, we've tried different things to each help us out, each other out in marketing. He, a little footnote when he was in Zeke Rewards, Bob paid my way into Zeke Rewards at the time. I don't know if you remember hearing about that, Ninja, but it was penny auctions, and at that time, Bob got in it, and I found out 6 months after. He was so busy, I'm thinking, okay, Bob, why didn't you call me sooner? But literally by the time Bob called me and told me about Zeke Rewards, he was already making like $4,000 a week.
Wow.
Something like that. It's outrageous. Yeah. And then it crashed. They threatened the owner of Zeke Rewards because he gave half of the profits away every day. He gave half the profits to the group that were marketing the penny auctions. It was an absolutely fabulous idea, and so because all the people were taking their money out of the banks and putting it into Zeke Rewards to become a partner, then it got word up to the bankers, called the Attorney General or the government, the Attorney General, and then he threatened them, says, "I'm going to put you in prison if you don't shut that down, boy." And so his wife was already ill. He had problems, and he didn't need any more problems, so he shut it all down in a day. And Bob, you're saying if anyone uses Facebook, please share NinjaCat 111. Hey, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is getting this. You see, we've been doing this thing for several months, and we rarely get over 10 listeners. We got no algorithm with YouTube because they took the U out of it, and so we're really relying on word of mouth to get the word out there. I assume you've listened to some of my programs that have been posted, Robert, huh? So very good. And so okay, let's do a couple more words here. And we got live is as you spell it backwards, it's evil. I think you already were talking about that.
Yeah, I have something written down about that as well. That's wow. You bringing that up is just But please continue.
Yeah, but lave. You see the word live. We can see in it the word lave, or the corrupted is levy. Let me just say hi to Bob there, in case he's not getting the audio. I don't know if he's getting the audio or not. Hey, Bob. Okay, and he says he's listening now. Okay, Bob, good deal. And so leve, so live is a corruption of the word leve. So in the word levi, leve, which means the way, then we find the word live. You see, that's where the word live, and then we see also the word love. The word love is in there because you just change the vowels.
Yeah.
You see. So it's a really profound cybercode, but you reverse. So what happens when you reverse love and you reverse live? You get evil, right?
Yes.
That's the opposite of light, meaning blindness.
Yes.
because it's not evil. Evil is an abstract term, so it's more correctly blindness. Now we get the picture that you're going around doing things with your eyes closed, so you have no idea what you're doing, and that's why you're stupid, right?
Yeah.
In the world,
Yeah.
people. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
And so egg with the two G's, and stop me if you need to jump in.
I'll let you continue, and then because I have a fair
Okay.
bit written down about this, so I'll let you continue.
All right.
And
Yeah, and Bob's got
Yeah.
audio in New Jersey. That's great. New Jersey is a low-lying coastline, and then when the Great Flood occurred, New Jersey came on the map. I think New Jersey is about to go underwater again, and with what's about to happen in the world. Greenland is melting, Bob. I don't know if you knew that, but Greenland, you need to go to a Higher Truth channel, Rises, the Higher Truth channel, Rises, YouTube, and go back on when we talked about Greenland, because the temperatures are just astronomical. 90 degrees in Alaska now for the first time in history in, I think it's Anchorage. Several days of 90 degrees. Never happened before. So everything's changing in our world. It's going to get really interesting. But egg, which as we spell it E-G-G, is correctly A-G-G. Egg, there's the sound of the egg. You see, not eeg. We don't say eeg. We say egg, but yet they use the E, showing how they've manipulated our mind, right?
Yeah.
Ninja, the mind control.
Yep.
We say one thing, but then the picture is another thing.
Yep.
And that's confusion, and that's mind control. So the A for the first letter of the alphabet, A for the projection of light that comes down, symbol of the sun. Therefore, egg, in a literal sense, means the eye of the gold, because what's in it is the gold, right? And what's interesting is I was doing a review on our presentation on Adam on the Forbidden History Live, and in there they talked about the occult and how they had an egg with no yolk in it, you know, and so it's saying that they're purely darkness. They're seed, meaning they're metaphor. They're a seed of darkness.
Wow.
The Vatican and all that. Yeah, and then one more, carpenter, as in is correctly. I'm just looking at the word for it in another way for the first time. Car, as in movement, and then panther, as in the power of turning. Panther, it means the power of turning. That's what a panther does, right? If you ever seen those documentaries about the cats, they really have, like, especially the what's the spotted one?
Leopard. The leopard.
Leopard or leopard. Yeah. You notice how they can turn on a dime and they go at high speed. They're one of the fastest animals, actually, and so there's the word panther. So it's panther is carpenter, and he's a wood twister. And so the original word for carpenter is correctly nalgesha. Nalgesha means wood twister. Nalgash is an abbreviation of that, and the nagash or the naga, is, they say, the serpent. But the more complete, without the abbreviations, knowing the code, is nalgesha. And so nalgesha means wise man, and it also means carpenter, and it also means a serpent, right?
Yes.
And so all of these things are within one word, and then they remove us from it. But so nalgesha means the royal eye that came down, and in a double play almost. But so we can see that you have to have a royal eye to be a carpenter. You have to have a royal eye to construct and build things. And typically, in the ancient time, they did a lot of wood twisting because they made furniture. The carpenter made furniture, like Bob. And although I don't think he twisted a lot of wood back then, I don't know. He may have to make some arms for rocking chairs if he made rocking chairs. So you twist the wood, you bend it using heat and pressure and water, steam, and so that's why the word carpenter was originally just like the serpent, just like the wise man, because the wise man can twist, can turn thoughts, he can turn the meaning of words. That's what we're doing here. We're untwisting them, actually. We're untwisting them, but okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I would say there, you got NAGA up there, you got the NASA, the serpent tongue, and NASA backwards is Ashan. The H has to be added because in original the H is always with the S. So it's Ashan. There's the Ashan. That's the the Aryan who came down, they're known as Aishan, and they of course, they never told us this when we see it on the map all of our life. And okay, so here's one more word in the book I just recently got in, the Phoenician origins of Britons, Scots, and Anglo-Saxons. And you may remember the other day I went in there, Ninja, and I talked about the word the Khazai, and I realized that it was abbreviation of the Khazar, the Khazai, and what did it mean? I said it says here the cross. And I thought, what a revelation, right? But now I got it more clearly because I talked about the crossroads and how they were the protectors of the crossroad. They were like the gatekeeper, right, for those going west, from the west to the east, or from the east to the west. And so literally, it's not the cross. It's close, but it really is the crossing. You see, so the crossing, and so when we realize that the word Khazar, the Khazar, which is the correct complete form, not abbreviated. Remember, they didn't add the vowels to the words in the beginning. They pronounced the vowels, and it was built upon the consonants. So that's why we see these words like this one here in particular as an abbreviation, but also a corruption because it's got a letter I in it after the Z, the Khazi, but it is the Khazars. And so what's the connection with the crossing? Okay, and the Khazar, because Khazar means the fiery keys of a star, the fiery keys of a star. And so they had the fiery keys. They were the gatekeepers, and the word correctly is the crossing, because they were at a crossing point. That's what it meant when it was saying here the cross. It was almost there, but not quite there. It is the crossing. It was a crossroad. And so, but when we talk about the Khazars being as the royal stars, having fiery keys, then we see that the sun is also. In other words, if Khazar represents the will of the sun, right? The Ka is also means will, and they are the Khazars. Then Zar meaning crossing. Then we can see that. Well, what does the sun do every day? It goes across the sky, right?
Yeah.
And so the symbol of a straight line with a short line going through it, like the picture of a cross, is what it implies is a crossing, because you cross the line, 180 degrees, or not 180 degrees, but the 90 degrees offset. Right? You had a straight long line, and then at one end of it you put a down line, and it created the crossing. So that's what the cross is also a symbol of in the metaphor of symbol. It is a crossing, you see, and that's why the cross therefore represents the sun, because it's crossing, and that's why it also represents the moon. But it's at the end of the word. On the sun, on the Zar, it's at the beginning of the word, because it starts with the symbol T, where the light is a silent symbol, and moon at the end, because it's at the end of the spectrum of light. It's in darkness. You see? Were you able to follow all that, Ninja?
Yes, I was, and I have a question. Desert?
Okay.
I've written down, just while you were talking just then, I've written down the word crucifixion, and I can see the word cross at the, like, with the first half of it, because the Southern Cross here in the Southern Hemisphere is called, I can't pronounce it very well, C-R-U-X, the crook. Oh, yeah, I'm not that great with pronunciations. Yeah, C-R-U-X, that's what they call the Southern Cross here.
They call it the crux? Is that they pronounce it crux?
Yes,
or how do they
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, crux is a form of the word cross. We can hear the sound, right?
Yeah, so in crucifixion, that's what I see in the start. But the last half of the word, fiction, is that them telling us that they changed the story with the word crucifixion?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that, the terminology, the cross of fiction. That the deniers of Yeshua love that, and yeah, the terminology may not be correct. F-I-C. See, the second, all three, look at all three of the first letters. F is a non-letter. I is a non-letter.
Yeah.
C is a non-letter. So we're going to talk about fiction. The first three letters in the word fiction are fictions because they did not exist in the original alphabet. F-I-C-T-I-O-N. And so only the O and the N and the T are legitimate letters within that word fiction. So the word fiction, interestingly enough, is made up of a composite of fictional letters.
So fiction is fiction.
It's not what would be the real. We have to go back and do an etymology. I can't comment much on it because I've known about that for a long time, that they're using that terminology.
Thank you.
To denigrate.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Rod class. Thank you, Bob. Rod class. I wasn't even close. Rod class. Yeah, we used to do Friday nights with Rod class on the cutting edge of. He was what do you call that? An attorney general. How do they say that, Bob? How do they say attorney general? They had a legal way of saying it, but anyway, it was quite a happening. I hope Rod is doing okay. I know he was having some health issues, but he was making history in the court system as well. So we just hung around with a lot of great, really tough guys here in America and around the world, Ninja, when we were doing our law broadcasting 7 days a week. And I missed that time. I learned a lot, and it was quite a happening 7 days a week of broadcasting and taken down by the double troubles, because anybody trying to do something positive in this world, those secret society members will show up and they'll make sure they take you down because they don't want anybody else. They don't want any competition. They hate anybody that will ruin their racket.
They can't stop us though. They can't stop us though. We're still going. We're still sharing and getting the word out there. And now you're starting to reconnect. You're reconnecting. Oh, it's so cool to see you guys reconnecting. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
not
can't
sure
stop
what you
us.
mean, Bob. I'm not sure what you mean. Not crashed, shut down by the corporate government. Anyway, look at Ninja. Why don't we go to a break? Let's take a break, a musical break. Then when we come back, we'll get into the dictionary of all scriptures and myths. I got a couple good ones on Yeshua. We're going to read. I'll tell you real quick. I'll get a little cliffhanger here. And
can I do?
The carpenter.
Sorry.
What?
Can I do my words when we get back, and then we'll get into the dictionary, or
your words? I'm sorry.
the ones that I have written down.
Oh, you have a couple. No, all right. I'm sorry.
Well, we can have a break if you want.
Let's do that. I got betrayal of Jesus and then the carpenter, as we were just talking about it, and those are the two reads. But we'll follow up with the words you have, Ninja. I'm sorry, I must have missed that. And let's go to a break. My throat is feeling it right now.
Okay, so is mine. Do you want 4 minutes or 7 minutes?
Oh, we'll do the longer one, and I can jump in if we can cut it shorter. Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
7 minutes, not too bad.
Okay.
Everybody, time to pull a friend out there, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
And remember, you heard it here first. We'll be back right after the break, guys. Please.
And it's what they didn't want them to know.
Yes. Yes, it is.
That
we tell right here.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
All right.
All right. We'll be back in a
I'm
second.
not worried. All right. Who's worried? All right.
Okay. Got the giggles. We'll be back in a second. I know there's no music yet. I'll find it in a second. Okay, welcome back. Oh, hang on, have an echo. Sorry. Welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, and currently broadcasting from Forbidden History Live. If you have not done so, please subscribe and check the bell. The links are in the description on all these live streams. We have a couple of new channels that we're working on. I'm just looking for the graphic for one of them, and I can't find it. My long list. Farah, let me see if I get this right. The Farah Fenton Daily Read, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We're
Thank
going to work on that on Saturday to do a premiere on Saturday. That's what we're looking at tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Okay, good.
More rowing. We got more rowing to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's a link in the there's a link in the description to that new channel. So please subscribe to that one. And there's also another one that we're getting up and running called The Cosmic Essence. I just found it. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I just found it. Yeah, The Cosmic Essence. Please subscribe to that one as well. It's going to be an easy reference channel. It's going to be organized into sections and categories, so that you can go, if you're looking for something in particular, because there's so many different, considering our words were switched from the beginning, and the deception involves the entire world. It branches off into many different subjects, and dot connecting and research. So we're doing the channel so it will be organized into different sections so that you can look up anything in particular. We're going to have a section on the letters, the alphabet, explaining how they switch them, what they really mean. The original thought is beautiful. The words are alive and speaking, and the deceivers have ruined that. And I
totally forgot we're doing the alphabet and blue today. You need to remind me. Don't forget, I'm on aluminum diet and also over 60 Ninja. Okay, so I wasn't prepared. And,
that's okay. We don't have to do it today. It's no. There's no rush. I've got some clips that I'm gonna, when I can find time. I've got some clips I'm gonna try and get up on the new channel. Yeah.
Right. I'm Mr. Natural. I'm automatically good to go, and unless I'm reminded I got some prep to do for a special feature, then once we get into it, I don't think I'll forget. But I forgot today with
it's all good.
External
it's
stuff
all
going
good.
on in life.
I haven't even clipped
it's all good,
the one.
It's not all good, okay? Don't tell me that. Right?
No worries. Yeah.
No worries.
Anyway.
But it's not all good, right?
No. Actually, it's not.
All right.
Can I do this? Before because you know how I get near the end, I get all wowed and lose my yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I was playing around with this in that, like, I was trying to get some organization happening with all the graphics that I've got here. And I was playing around with this one. You'll see it in a minute. That's not it. Where did it go? Where's it gone? There it is. Okay, you'll see it in a minute. I was trying to find a way to put some more text in, put another lot of text with the same graphic next to it regarding veil and live and the anagram evil, how we were talking about those words on Forbidden History Live. Yeah, and yeah, so that got me thinking, and it got me thinking of the word darkness. And yeah, I'm just going to change this because, yeah.
That's an interesting graphic.
Thank you.
Rather,
Lift that veil. Yeah.
You're getting talented, multi-talented here.
Anyway, so yeah, that's all. That's as far as I got with the graphic.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lydia does have a question whenever it's appropriate. We'll take your question, Lydia. So stand by.
Yeah, yeah. Got me thinking. I have two separate things here that I just want to get out, and then we can move on. Yeah, it got me thinking about darkness, and how you say that the darkness is void and there's nothing there. So, I hear your quotes in my head, Desert.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That's what that repetition will do. You see, that's the secret to mind control.
Yes.
They repeat everything over and over. We start repeating everything over and over. We don't know what we're talking about. And so in radio, it's one of the things you learn is that repetition is important.
Yeah.
You know, and because new people are always coming in, but at the same time, we want to hammer a point home.
It's the deprogramming, reprogramming. Yeah. Anyway, you got me thinking of your voice in my head. Got me thinking of void, and then I thought of avoid, like as in avoid people, avoid things, and then I separated it, and like separated with like a void, as in a void, which is going back to void. Does that make sense?
Well, it's a negative connotation because the A representing the sun is not void, and so that's how they create the word in an opposite way, as we did one the other day. I can't remember what it was.
That's what I was saying. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was saying. Thank you, Desert.
You're seeing things, Ninja.
Wow.
Dangerous.
It's so cool. I wish I could explain it better, Desert.
Learning to see and read it for herself. That's what behold means.
Just,
you must see and read it for yourself.
Just everywhere I look, just with everything, Desert. It's all wows. And there's one more thing. I made a little presentation. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, here we go. A little while back, see how on the screen now we have the Aishavors are the DNA of life. A little while back I did a little bit of looking around for GIFs or stickers or some sort of graphic involving a DNA strand and letters on it. I didn't have a chance to put that one in here, but I have done something. Anyway, I found a picture of a DNA strand with letters on it, and also an article saying that something like scientists want to add more letters to our DNA. And that got me thinking back to Aishavors are the DNA of life, and they're talking about letters on DNA strands. Anyway, I found this while I was looking, and up here I noticed it says in the genes, and that got me thinking of this.
Well, you're going to have to stop that thinking, Ninja, okay? They can't have that going on around, okay?
Hang on, just let me read before I do this. Just let me read it out because it's a bit hard to see. In the genes, right? Genes are
Right.
instructions that build your body and tell it how to work. Your genes control many of the things that make you unique, like the color of your eyes or how tall you'll be. So that made me think of genes as in genes that you wear, and how we talk about the serpent and the shirt pants and the physical body, and we have genes written there on the screen saying that is what builds our body. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, and you'll see
Well,
this
yeah.
in...
Well, it also probably explains why they call, just like they call us, the shirt and the pants. We put on the shirt band every day with the shirt and the pants. Probably explains why they call the blue jeans blue jeans. There you go. You see, you were getting it. All right, they're right in my face. Just as I'm talking about it, she's pulling up a pair of blue jeans, and it's because they're saying that we are the genes in the pants, the genealogy in the pants, right?
Yeah. See, this is why my head is constantly spinning, because because this isn't even half of what I'm seeing these days.
So now we know we can
Wow.
call the serpent Gene, right? He's got a name. It's Gene.
It's Gene. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also we can pronounce it, change the E to the original, and then you get Gen. So it's Gen for generation.
Wow,
Right?
does
That's what
it?
Gene does, right?
Oh,
Generation.
wow. Wow.
I
I know.
Sure. They're having. We should have fun too, right?
Exactly. This is amazing.
Shirt plus plant equals shirt pant. That's another good one. You'll have to get that on the other channel too.
Shelley's is
Yo
Shelley's is better. She's good. Her genes.
No,
Her,
just
my
take
genes are
another
crooked.
picture. Yeah, the more we can play it up, so to speak, the more we can get people thinking about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. See and read
we're
it
the
for
only, you
yourself.
realize we're the only ones on the. I've never, ever heard anyone can make the connection other than what we're doing right here. And so, what this is so revolutionary to reveal. We're revealing so many things that nobody else talks about, Ninja. It's really a mind blower to
Exactly.
realize when it says in Revelations that they deceived the entire world. They really have.
Yes.
It's an absolute fact, and it's just a miracle that I went on a unique journey, climbed a mountain 40 years ago, and the Father, touched me. He called me from my mother's womb. I remember being conscious and seeing pink light sucking my thumb in my mother's womb. And then one day I'm out behind bars in a crib, thinking about how I'm going to be behind bars 40 years in the future, when they're going to come for me and set me up. And you never know what the meaning of framed means until you've been framed by the occultic, and hey, that way. And so, so the words opened up to me early on, and so this is a miracle.
It is.
That,
It really
we're
is, does
having
it?
The opportunity to know these things.
Yes.
I can't tell you how I have had to sacrifice. I couldn't do 600 miles a day and get pay in order to discover all the things I did. I took poverty and no automobile in order to be able to just read books and do this, Ninja. So it's been a major sacrifice. Most people wouldn't be willing to do it,
Yeah. And I am so grateful. So grateful. Like I know that it is all thanks to Yeshua, but I'm so grateful that you listen to him. I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bob gave an answer up there. The people that were studying on Rod Class's group were called the private attorney generals. According to congressional legislation, they could do that. We can all become private attorney generals. So they used their own legislation against them. It was pretty cool, and it changes the whole dynamic with our legal struggles. But I don't know where they're at with that today. I couldn't follow it enough with what I was doing. I had my own journey, and it wasn't within the legal realm. It was within the spiritual realm. Okay, so I don't want to let Lydia go, and I got that posted up there. Now, can we stop just to answer Lydia's question, or?
Yeah, I'm finished now. I'm done. Yeah. All good. I got it out.
Great graphics.
Thank you.
You're just full of surprises, Ninja. You're just taking off now like a rocket ship on the launching pad. Okay, we gotta We got all systems go, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing and reading it for ourselves. The fuel is in, and get ready because we're about to take off. And so Lydia had a question, Desert, and I have a question already. Why is Yeshua, or and all have different spellings? What is the correct name? So what I did is I went further just below that, and I typed in Jesus becomes Joshua, Joshua becomes Yeshua, and Yeshua becomes Yeshulimva, which is the most primitive. But I don't use Yeshulimva for the broadcast because it would lose too many people, and the most primitive.
Yeah.
But it literally means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round, and that's exactly that's why Yeshua had Moishan, put on the cross a serpent, right? Because it represented the sun and it represented the creation, serpent creation. All of creation is a serpent. We are the serpent. The atom is a serpent. The solar system is a serpent. You know, it's all a serpent, and it's metaphor. And so Yeshua is the most in the middle of the road. That people, we don't lose them, and they can appreciate Yeshua because they know that basically is Joshua, but there was no J up until 200 years ago. J is a latecomer. That's part of the fraud, part of the deception they put on us, and Yeshua, Yeshua, it comes out of the Babylonian Talmud. We just talked about that the other day, and it means may his name be blotted out forever. So it's a curse, and they got the Messianic movement, which is very messy, following, you know, the leaders of the Babylonian Talmud, thinking that they're legitimate followers of the way, and they're followers of, they're not followers of the way. And then we got here, Desert. How did we find that Jesus Christ equals big snout? And it's the word Jesus, and it's so JESUS. Well, that's all small letters. Let me try that again. JESUS becomes YESUS. Okay, and Sus. Well, then that becomes because Sus equals that's Indo-Germanic. Okay, that's Indo-Germanic. That is the original root form. Sus is big snout. Okay, and so I was blown away because I discovered it in the dictionary. I always associated Jesus with Isis. There you hear the word ISIS. So
Yeah.
Mates are Egyptian, but Isis meaning the healing Zeus from the Greek culture. And so I said, okay, I get it. You know, it's the supreme God of the Greeks. That's what Yeshua is in the Aramaic. He's the supreme God, and that Isis, the healing Zeus. Well, Yeshua was a healer. You know, but then when I was reading the Indo-Germanic, all of a sudden I said, well, wait a minute, it's not spelled the same way. And there it is. You see, this fits with what the followers of the Talmud would do. They control our words outside the Vatican. Jewish banking are in bed with the Aryan Vatican. It doesn't matter if they got blacks in there because blacks are just a showpiece, but it's an Aryan at its core. Going back to the ancient Aryan Brahmin, and so from Romanian, Sus means up. Okay, Lydia, thank you for that insight, and can't comment much more on that.
Interesting though.
Bob says he was also assigned the position of private attorney general. Okay, yeah, that's Rod Class again. Yeah. So thank you for that follow-up, Bob. I appreciate that. My memory is really struggled these days with stuff. There's the map of the the oldest map of America right there, known as New India. We can see that known as New India, and that's why they called the natives of America Indians. Okay, because why would they be called Indians? Because Columbus pretended to be looking for a route to India in the northern hemisphere, India's in the southern hemisphere. Give me a break. It was just a cover on this grand conspiracy. Same reason why Washington D.C. was originally called New Rome. Okay, that was New Rome. So they kept doing switch outs throughout time. Betsy Ross never made the American flag. It's a Jesuit slavery flag that was flown on the high seas and brought slaves to America. Okay, so all of that, ladies and gentlemen, going on. So you're good, Ninja.
Yes. Does it?
Okay, then we'll.
I'm just
we'll
wowing.
Go further.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You're waving. You're waving. Right? You're waving up and down.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to read a little bit of out of the dictionary of all scriptures and myths. It's the most important dictionary to get when you want to define all the mysteries of our scriptures, because they're in here. You know, this is a work of genius by Gaskill, G.A. Gaskill. And let me get a clip here. Hang on. All right. Oh, and yeah. So I think I got your answered your question there that way. Okay. And thank you, Lydia, for your participation as well. Okay. I hope
Yeah, that
helped
was
you.
cool. That was
So
cool.
Yeshua. You know, the beauty behind our Redeemer is whatever you think his name is, or his title is, his royal title is, based on your culture where you grew up. What counts is the pure heart.
Yes.
You can call him Bob. Okay, forgive me, Bob, but you know, I'm just using you as an example. You can call him if you think his name is Bob, and that's all you know. He will respond to you. He wears the mask. So they think they played a joke on him, and called him a pig snout. But that just shows who these people are. That these are the same people who took down 3,000 people in the World Trade Centers. The Twin Towers of Freemasonry. They were designed to be taken down by the Rockefellers and Freemasonry and the Jews and the Vatican. Okay, this is the nature of our world. It's a psychopathic world. And also, by the way, Christ, because you added Christ, Jesus Christ. Christ is Krishna, right? But in the Vatican, Christ is an anagram for strict. You see, just rearrange the letters, and you get strict. It's not a perfect anagram, but you can see it when you reverse the letters. The STRICK, strict or strike. You can see the word strike is in there. That's what they wanted to do, is beat us with rulers in the in the Catholic school. Okay, they terrorized us with wanting to beat us. It was amazing. Yeah. So St. Peter's, New Brunswick, New Jersey, Bob. I'm sure you know where I'm talking about, right near the Pennsylvania Railroad Bridge. Yeah, that's interesting times back then when I was. Yeah, it was good to grow. It was good to grow up. I gotta say, it was rough being a slave as a child, right? You say, when am I going to grow up and be able to do what I want to do?
Yeah, and then you grow up and yeah.
It's not what we want to do, though. That's what we have to find out. It's about what he wants us to do. That's what we got to do. So we're going to do a definition: betrayal of Yeshua, the betrayal of Jesus. Okay, there's Jesus, and we still use the word for common parlance, but we know that now we're getting a spin on the internet. I hope we're not being shut off. Are we being shut off, Ninja, or do I have to do a refresh? How are we doing?
It's still good here. Oh, hang on.
Still good. Let me do a refresh then.
It's still good. Yeah.
Over here. Refresh. Okay, it's looking good so far. Yeah, we're still broadcasting. Refresh worked. So
yay.
Just like the wave, it was spinning just like the wave. And there's your Fibonacci sequence right there in the wave, for the perfect symbol of creation with the light going through. That's beautiful. So betrayal of Yeshua, the symbol of the voluntary falling away from the Christ soul of the lower element at the last, thus initiating the crossing over. Well, there's the crossing over. That's why Yeshua was on a cross. That's why he was next to the skull, because skull means to steer. And what he was doing on the cross, on the curse, was steering the next direction for creation. He was changing the old system. He was steering things in a new direction. That's why he was symbolically next to a skull. You see, the place of the skull where he was crucified. And so it's all symbolic. Every little detail there is symbolic. Okay, so and straightway Judas came to Yeshua and he said, "Hail, Rabbi," which we correctly Rave, which means royal star. Hail, royal star. I rise. What he said was, "I rise for the royal star," and kissed him. And Yeshua said unto him, "Friend, do that for which you are come." Matthew 24:49 and 50. So this is interesting that I don't remember reading that particular part of that verse, because he says you betray the seed of the Son with a kiss, and this is a little different here. Rather interesting. I have to take note of that. I'm highlighting it. And I noticed that Gaskell in some of the scriptural quotes are a little different than what I've read in our other scriptures. And I'm wondering what Bible is he reading from, because he's got very often a more pure transliteration. Stand by, I need to take a sip here. Okay, back to it. Judas stands, Judas. Notice he's got the ass at the end. He symbolizes Judah, and he's a Jude ass. Okay? And so it's symbolic of what happened because his own tribe, the tribe of Judah betrayed Yeshua. He was of the tribe of Judah. He was the one everybody was supposed to be waiting for, but we know that they weren't interested in him other than the common people. But the priesthood, they're in business, okay? They don't need any business being disrupted. That's not good, because they're following the Babylonian Talmud. They were pseudo-Israel. They were not real Israel. So Judah stands for the lowest or latest, Judah stands for the lowest or least raised quality in the not yet perfected Christ soul. Consequently, that is the quality which requires the soul to go through the anguish at the final crossing over from the lower to the higher state. The exercise of choice of action is the means whereby evolution is accomplished. Choice has previously been offered to the quality, quote, Judas, when, having fallen away, he approaches to do that for which he has come. Judas, by getting his selfish gratification, money, forfeits his claim to the Mashiach, to the Christ, whom he betrays with a kiss. That is, he retains the semblance of affection, but without the reality. Master, and he walks over to him and gives him a kiss while he's got the Pharisaic army behind him. The great problem of existence is our perfection, or we should say lack of perfection. The perfection that is of our true freedom, the free judgment, the ability to process, the schooling of our choice or consent as powers, so that we may be fully established in harmony with God's, as God's here, but that would be Yahweh's will and character. In harmony with Yahweh's will and character, unified with Him in His will, glorified with Him in the illumination of His character, and so perfected with Him in His eternal, not eternal, but eternal beatitude. Characters, or we should say beatitude, characters for the virgin being, for the virgin thought, for the virgin life. Characters or powers are creatures who act not by causality, but by consent. They must therefore be set in conditions that invite consent. H. Bushnell, nature, and so on. In the lower stages of man's religious life, we find this competition between different kinds of the good, or we should say different kinds of the perfection, different kinds of the light. Well, no, there's only one light. See, but good is a watered-down term, and I hate that word "good" because it's like milk toast, Between the sensuous valuables to which the will is compelled by appetite, passion, and desire, and the spiritual values which religion in the higher stages of the activity of intellect and imagination presents as rivals to the sensuous and the man is called to choose between the two. The choice is that which seems to religion as a choice between the flesh and the spirit, or between the world and Yahweh, or between earthly favor and the divine approval, or finally between a widening ethical separation from the source of all spiritual life and its voluntary acceptance as the indwelling and welcome source of the soul's true and highest life, G.T. Laird, the philosophy of religion. Okay, and so that's where that is right there. And then we've got one more. Hang on. I want to welcome any new listeners to the broadcast, and you are tuned in right here to the Forbidden History Chronicles on NinjaCat 111, and we'll be on tomorrow. May not be the normal time at 11 a.m. Eastern time, but may be delayed for some upgrading. We've got to do some system testing on the other channel. So, but sometimes tomorrow, midday, let's say by midday, unless we push it to the evening, just make sure you're subscribed, and then you'll get the notice, okay? So, so under the word carpenter, it's a symbol of the, and I was a carpenter, by the way, I was a home builder, and so I knew that my skill, I could build a house single-handedly also, and so that extreme talent that I had for that, all of that was symbolic of what I'm doing today, because it's about, in lieu of the term carpenter, it's more like saying I'm a builder, because I could do a variety of things, actually. So I was a builder. I was also a general contractor for a while, still symbolic. So carpenter, and so therefore a builder. Yeshua is a builder. He built the universe. So he's the first builder, and then we become builders with him. And you're a builder, Ninja, because you are creating what you're doing. You're creating things that did not exist prior to your putting forth the energy that is within you and the psyche that goes along with the energy that you are creating with. So you're a builder, and so it's a metaphor for
wow.
The higher cause, right? The ultimate. And so we're all builders in one sense or another. So carpenter, a symbol of the divine artificer. That's a good word. The symbol of the divine artificer, that aspect of the one life which constructs and puts together. Vashtar is the clever-handed carpenter god, who, and of course, in this culture, whatever this cosmology is, it is a reference to Yeshua. So remember, even though it's in different names, it also goes back to the original meaning. There's only one source. There's only one creation event. And so all these other cultures are pointing back to that event, but within their own terminology, within their own writings, you see.
Yeah,
so that's why it's important
from their
to
perspective.
read these things, because it's another way of looking at it, and then it helps us in our own inner struggle to comprehend things clearly.
Yeah.
Let me see. Bob here says, Rob defeated DC in the gun charge against him in the Supreme Court. Okay, well, that's cool. I know he's got the bigger battle then still to do, but he got it. Wonderful. Okay, so here we go. So Vashtar is the clever-handed carpenter god. Carpenter god would mean the great tool of Haim. In particular, manufactured with his hatchet. Actually, the word would be hammer. That's the Thor, and that's as it says here, the thunderbolt of Indra. The hatchet is the thunderbolt of Indra, but that's a Thor in the Scandinavian culture, and that is the hammer that makes the steel, the lightning that comes down, crashing down, and manufacturing something that never existed before, but also in general adorned the sky and the sun and the earth and the parents and all things with their forms. That's Yeshua. He made the entire universe. Whence the sun, earth, and moon and the stars are called the artificer's pair. Well, then it's specifically talking about the sun and the earth. The artificer's pair. Vashtar produced the Brihaspati from all existing things, from him after him. Well, there's your sound vibrations. That's what it means. from the sound vibrations, and the skilled artificer, that's H.W. Wallace, Cosmology of the Rig Vedas. Spirit, which is symbolic of heaven, or the sun, excuse me, heaven is a code word. Spirit, symbolic of the sun, and matter, symbolic of the earth. The sun is the atom, the Eden, and the earth is the lower garden. Two gardens, two choices. And therefore, so the spirit, symbol of the sun and matter of the earth, are the artificers' pair, because from them all things are produced. That's right, there's nothing on the moon, right? Other than it goes around and it's something that allows you to see in the darkness. Okay? Beautiful. This confirms everything I've been saying, Ninja, if you can follow, because from them all things are produced, and from all qualities, apparition for growth arises. There you go. So, great mystery, and we continue to confirm that which we already are discussing, and that Mayan interpretation of the Mayan writings is just an absolute mind blower. So we're going to put that in the lower description as well. Oh, beautiful! You fixed it, didn't you? Didn't you?
I got a new one. Yeah.
You got a new one. Thank you. There you go. That gift going back and forth is a little annoying. So
yeah.
That was
yeah. I have about 3 different ones like stored away, and I'd put up the wrong one last time. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do a short break, okay, if we could, and then we'll come back. We'll read the history of America. We're going through that book by the Informer, and so we're not even halfway through it yet. And I don't know if that's let me see if that's a long chapter or not. We've also got symbolism we were going to do. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the symbolism first.
Yeah, we can keep going. I'm loving this. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, you're good. What time is it down under? 1:45
a.m.
Quarter
Yeah.
to 2.
But it's
right,
Saturday tomorrow, so it doesn't matter, and it's freezing, so Mum will sleep in.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Excuse me, I was just yawning there. I'm getting tired, Ninja. Okay, getting tired of this world. So
Yeah,
it's not going to be
I'm
pretty
with
what's
you.
about to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can see it. It's all going to happen at once, and yeah.
Yeah, it's going to crash. So in the meantime, let's figure things out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back right here at Forbidden History Chronicles, and what they didn't want you to know that we
tell right here. Yes, we do.
Very much.
Yes.
Be on the other side.
Okie dokie. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. Glad you're all still here. It's turning out to be an amazing program after a few glitches at the start. You're listening to you're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel and Forbidden History Live. Please subscribe. The links are in the description below, and check the bell. It's amazing. Both channels, absolutely amazing. Sorry, I'm scrolling and trying to think of words at the same time. Okay, just finding a graphic. Thank you, Lydia. I love the music as well.
Cosmic Essence. I'm sorry.
Oh, hang on. There's an echo. Okay, good. I fixed it. And the new channels are also down there. The list in the description is getting very long, but it's all there. All the information you need, it's all there. For the PDFs as well. For those who don't know, there are PDFs that Desert has written. There's the real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary that helps you see and read it for yourself, and comprehend what we are sharing here on these channels. And yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful. I don't know how many times I've said it now for Desert, but I just love I love the original thought. It's just beautiful. Anyway, there's also a sample of the original gospel with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary at the back of it, and also the Book of Wisdom, which is a brilliant read. For those who don't know, I look after Mum 24/7 with virtually no time to myself. That's why we're broadcasting in the middle of the night. Because it's the only time I can do it. So finding time to really sit down and read is a challenge, and I've found that the Book of Wisdom has turned out to be my go-to book when I'm really suffering and looking for answers and feeling alone. And most of my friends and my beautiful Owlet family are on the other side of the planet, and I can't just call if it's the middle of the day because you guys are all sleeping. So I go to the Book of Wisdom, and I've opened it randomly for answers, and the answer is always there right in front of me. So it's amazing, and it's confirmation that I'm not alone, that Yeshua is with all of us. So if you want the PDFs, just go into the description and the information is there. Sorry, Desert, to cut you off. Welcome back.
That's right. No, I appreciate that. What you're saying there, that's beautiful, because the Book of Wisdom is actually the most powerful book of wisdom ever written. It was written by the great uncle of Yeshua, Joseph of Volashaphe of Ramtha, correctly, but known as Joseph of Arimathea. He is Volashaphe of Ramtha, of the Ram. So get a copy. Any size donation, Ninja will get it to you. We give half of the donations to Ninja to help her in her struggle so that she can relocate. She needs help, and she's doing great work here, losing sleep and having no time for her own life while the clock is ticking. And so she needs options, and the donations will help that and will help us as well. So please consider. And if you don't have the funny money, then any side donation, she'll get you a copy anyway. Okay. So
thank you, Desert.
So okay. So we're going to talk symbols real quick before we get into the history, the forbidden history of America by the Informer. bush. We hear about what's interesting about our translations. Where I do transliteration, the word translation in the sense of what it means is like magic. Translation, boom, translate something into one thing into another thing, right? Translate, boom.
Yeah.
Bing, bada, bing.
Transfer comes to mind. Transfer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of all these.
So to translate something it has an occultic meaning.
Yeah.
Because it's really about transliteration. We want to literally express something in true form and correctly. Whereas with translation, it's sort of like using the word change. Well, what kind of change are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? And so the same with translation. Translated into what? Because what I'm talking about is transliteration, what it literally says.
Yeah.
And so everybody repeats the lie, and so all of the scriptures, it appears, they all say the same thing in the story of the Exodus, when it says that then Moishe went up, he saw something burning up on the mountain, and he went up there, and it turns out it was a burning bush. But you see, it's not a burning bush, because we can know from the narrative of the story that it was always about a tree, right? In the beginning, there were two trees. The tree of knowledge, that represented the sun. Well, you see, there's a duality, as I've taught, and a triune, actually, within sun, earth, and moon. But in the primordial sense, the tree of life is the sun, and then the moon is the tree of knowledge, but it's great mystery, right? Because it's in the darkness, and it's that beautiful round orb, but it's a reflection of the great light. And so, being a reflection of the great light, the sun itself, then is a reflection of Yahweh, who is purely spirit, and we could not see with our naked eye. So there's levels of progression within this, in these metaphors.
Yeah.
But then the tree, then the next trees we see on the scene is man and woman, who are also serpents, and the serpent is in the tree is in the serpent, and but then the one is male, one female. The female is the tree of life, because she has the ability to bring forth life, and she's the house. She represents the universe. That's why he said, "You are the mother of all living, all things of creation," and but he's the tree of knowledge. So we got the trees. So it's all about the trees. Can you see what I'm saying? That it's not about a bush, and it's about trees, right, Ninja?
Yes, I see that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So when Moishe went up to see the burning tree, then when he gets to it, he's told to take off his sandal, because he's standing upon pure ground. And the pure ground it implies, because we know this is a dirty, stinking world, but yet at the same time, there's a pure world right here, right now. The duality that is hiding from us, and it's classically known as the kingdom of heaven, which is here right now. Okay, some people are still waiting for Yeshua to come back. They don't even know that he's here. Right? And come back for what? He rose from the dead. What better comeback can there be? Okay, and this is the golden age of light. It is the age of the second born. It is the age of enlightenment. And so the tree then also speaks about a family tree. So when he's standing before the burning tree, it is symbolic. And then what happens? He's told to throw down his staff, and he throws down his staff, and it becomes a serpent, and he's told to pick it up. And so the serpent, being also the staff, means that the serpent is guiding us. And the serpent, then in the great metaphor, is also the great Elohim, and it is Yeshua. Because Yeshua is in all things. He's the ultimate serpent, then I guess we could say, right? Because he's everywhere.
Wow.
He's in all things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So therefore, the burning tree that he was standing in front of, in the classic metaphor, is the sun. That's what it symbolizes. He's standing before the light.
Wow.
You see? And he's being given a message. And so our message is coming from the light at the same time, you see? And so nobody defines these things, and these are the things that we have to define in order to find our bearing and the way way back home. If we can't interpret these things, then how can we claim that we're going to live forever in a paradiseia of pure enlightenment when we're stuck in the mud, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have late work to do, and we got a lot of work to do, and it is based on our conscious awareness, our study of the deeper meanings. It's a pursuit. It's just like people like to go bowling, they like to go out to party, they want to go dancing, they want to do all these things. Well, when you know that the grave is coming, that you're on a clock and it's got limited time, there's no better game in town than to figure out the great mysteries of life and how you can connect with the one who made all things. Because the one who made all things reveals all things.
Yes.
And he's the one that has the power of life and death. You know, we didn't make ourselves, he made us.
Yeah.
So we have to find out why and how we can fit in his plan, because it's his will, it's his desire that we know him and that we find fulfillment in him. It's not his will that we suffer and we be punished. That's the deception of the world that was thrusted upon us, and we have to be set free from, whether it's the body or whether it's the external that's out there, right? But it's all bad, and because it's opposite to what the light really is, and it's all called the Great Mystery. So today in symbolism, in the book on symbolism that came out of Spain, the Dictionary of Symbols by Sirlot from the Philosophical Library, we've got two columns. Well, there's your proverbial twin towers. There's your Yaqui and Boaz in Freemasonry. There's the true name for the idols that were in Israel, when they said they made images. They never tell us what the image is. Isn't that interesting, right?
Wow.
They just call them images. Yeah. Oh yeah, they made. It's like saying, well, they made something, but we're not going to tell you what it was because, yeah, we're controlling your narrative. You know. And so therefore, we control the horizontal, we control the vertical. Don't touch that dial. It's the outer limits, ladies and gentlemen, and that's where we're going to keep you, in the outer limits, and you will never know. But here on the Forbidden History Chronicles, we spill the beans. Okay, yeah, that's right. We serve them up with hot sauce and